Okay, these videos expand on the idea of curtain wall systems in more complex, morphologically speaking, facades. Okay, so last video, if you just check the previous video, we dealt with mullions and we did an introduction on adaptive components and a pattern-based components in Revit. I'm going to do a couple of examples, if not three, that you could use at your own will, meaning you could select some of them or you could try to invent another module to create yourself using some of the introductory elements here. Okay, so I have a project with nothing. Okay, and I'm also gonna, I don't know if I have it open already, let me see. No, so I'm gonna create a new conceptual mass. And just to be fast about it, we have the interface of conceptual masses, but I'm going to Control Tab and go to our project. You can actually create masses directly in a project by simply going to Mass in Inside and selecting In Place Mass. Okay, I'll say close that, and you can give it a name such as building like gym or something, and you will have the same tools as if you were using a conceptual mass, meaning the create form. You can extrude this and you can start clicking on points and making variations on the masses. The only difference is that this is embedded within the project and you need to say finish mass when you're done. Okay, that turns it a little bit like halftone, and if you want to edit it, you actually need to select it and just say edit in place. Okay, so you can keep on editing your project as you wish. You can insert reference planes. You can set your working plane to be any reference planes and keep on working the same way you would do otherwise in a conceptual mass. Okay, I'm going to delete that. The difference again is that if I Control Tab and I go to our conceptual mass, I can do exactly the same, meaning rectangle, select, extrude, and then I can say load into the project. So I have it in the project and I can edit it as an external reference, meaning like a family that is independent from the project. That normally is good if you want to have like different team members working on the conceptual mass, or if you want it to be a bit more immediate, like the city surrounding your building, that could be placed model in place. No? Okay, I'm going to Control C that. In the conceptual mass, I'm just going to do a curvy form, so we can get that idea. We can use Control to copy reference planes very easily, both horizontal and vertically. We have 3 planes there. Remember that in conceptual mass is always selecting and creating curves and then doing something with the curves. Okay, when you select the reference plane and you create a curve, it's going to be done in that reference plane. So I'm going to do like an arc. I'm going to snap to that other reference plane. Just going to do something a little funky. Okay, I'm going to select the vertical plane to create a line, and I'm going to go vertically with that. Okay, I'm also going to create another line on that vertical plane. Snap there. And I don't know, I'm going to copy this one up to the top. Good. In each of the planes I'm going to create different arcs that are associated to that vertical line. You can always press Shift like in many other softwares to create different curves. Wait a minute, this one, you see it's a problem, so I'm going to move it. Again, you probably have your own conceptual mass. I'm just generating a slightly complex project, but you most probably have your conceptual mass that you want to work with already, whether it's in the project or outside of the project. Okay, I'm going to create an arc here, and these are going to be the same arcs but different intensities or different arc dimension. And the last one here, arc. Okay, as you can imagine, what I was going to do is pretty much create a form, which is a loft. It could be an interesting facade. You could imagine these curves being polylines or splines or anything you want. Good. This will always be able to load it into the project if that was your external facade. And as we mentioned in the last video, you can select any face you want and actually divide the surface. You can divide the surface according to a UV number of elements, like 15 or 51 in that case. Say 20, let's say 15, and it changes the number. You can also change it to be according to distance instead of according to a number. And not only that, you can select the grid itself and change the pattern base, so you can make it like 1/3 step, as if it was a brick configuration, or similar arrows. You can use triangle, rectangle, checkerboard, rhomboid. And some of these start to be familiar about some projects that you might know out there in the real world, no? Triangle based, or even hexagon or octagon, etc. It's just repeating the same module once and again. I'm going to start with a very simple one. For example, the rectangle. Okay. Now, how do we really place a little element, meaning a module, another family, inside of each of these and repeat it? Okay. I'm going to use a new family that is under curtain wall pattern base. Okay, I'm going to say open, and whatever I create in here, I can afterwards save it and load it into the other conceptual mass. Let's do the most simple option, which is selecting the given lines. These are reference lines, that's why they're green, and just say create form. There's two options. You can always do a planar or extruded. And let's save this. I'm going to save it in the desktop as in module 1. I'm going to load it into the project. I'm going to select it's family 1. I should name the conceptual mass, obviously. And nothing happens until you select the grid and you bring the module 1 that you loaded into the project. It's going to be right underneath whatever grid configuration you have chosen. Okay. Not that, this one. Obviously the facade is quite large. In your case, you could have only one little facade and you could have only like 4 modules repeated. You decide what is the scale of your proposal. Okay. Now that's it. Now we get in and we start seeing some little problems, meaning the panels are having this split or kind of a difference. It could be that you're happy with this and these are panels that you can do, but at the same time we kind of know how to do this in another way, just using panels from a curtain grid, no? But let's do it a little bit better. Let's resolve that issue. Okay, I'm going to actually go back, Control Tab, and close that as if we were done, and create a new family, and again curtain panel. Let's start from scratch a bit better. I'm going to save it and I'm going to call it module 1 no gap. Oh, instead of extruding this, we have to do a little bit of a trick set of arrangements. Okay, first arrangement, we need to place points. So we need to place points picking specific plane of reference. Is the horizontal plane of that point right here. Okay, once you do that, you can place it right on top. You escape that, you select only the point and you move it vertically. Vertically meaning the blue arrow. Okay, if I select the point within the parameters, we have this offset command that we can change it to 10 and it changes automatically, to 5 and it changes automatically. That means that we can actually select the point and click on this little button to the right of offset and associate it with a parameter. How? Add parameter, and let's call it vertical offset. Let's call it 1, because there could be another one later on. That means that now I can go to the parameters types here and change it directly here. Let's say okay, and the point changes in relationship. We do the same thing 4 times, meaning point, pick, horizontal plane, place the point, escape, select the point only, and vertical. You can already go there and select the button to assign the same parameter, and it will automatically adjust. Okay, point, again, pick, select, place, escape, move vertically. I'm going to do the other one very fast. Pick, select the plane, escape, select, move vertically. Now I'm going to select these 2. I could have selected the 4 of them with no problem, and under the offset parameter assign this parameter so all of them are equal. That means that first, if we go to the parameters, we can change these parameters to 10 and the 4 points will move accordingly. That also means if I select 1 point and move it, all the points will go with it. That's good. And that means also that if I select a given point, adaptive point, and move it vertically, the point will move with it. Okay. Next, we're going to use the reference line, and we're going to 3D snap to the points that we created before. Escape. And again, it's recommendable that you what is called flexing, or just change your parameters to see if everything goes smooth. Okay, that's going up. 5, it's going down. If I move this point, the lines and the points move with it. That's correct. Now I'm going to select the reference plane 1, control reference plane 2, and create a form. And again, I can test it to see that everything moves properly. 6, and everything moves properly. Now we should save this, load it into the project. Let's say the family 1, which is our conceptual mass. You can delete perfectly the face or the previous option you have. Divide the surface again and select the grid to select now the no gap option. Obviously it's going to take time because it has to load the whole system of parameters. Got it. No gap. It's clean. Not only that, you can select one of the modules by tabbing and saying edit type to change the vertical offset to 5. You say okay, all of them will change. So the question will be, how can I make one different? No? Well, when we created the parameter, we said that it was going to be a type parameter, and all the type parameters are included inside of the edit type here and affect the entire set of panels. But if you want to affect one panel alone, we need to have them as a family, as an instance that is called. The parameters should be in here, not inside of the type. No? So to do that, I'm going to select the point, go to the parameters, or you can just go to the parameters here, select your parameter and say modify. And here you can say instance instead. Okay. We can save this, load into the project. We need to override the parameter values. And now we can tab to select one, and there we have our command. It's not in the edit type anymore. You see how it's not there? It's actually under the family structure, so you can say 8 and change that. It will be the only one changing. No? What can we do more about it? Let's go back to our previous one. What if we assign a new parameter to 2 of the points? Let's say add parameter and let's call it offset, vertical offset 2, and let's also have it instance. And to this one we're also going to assign vertical offset 2. In the parameters I'm going to go to vertical offset 2 and call it 8, so we're going to be able to change the angle of that module. I'm going to save that, load into the project, the same Conceptual Mass, override, and now you have this dented quality of it. Okay. Now if you want to change the parameters, it would be as simple as going to the parameters here and changing this to be a bit more like, let's say 4 and 12. Save, load, family, override. And it will have this kind of a more dented or more like an angled type of module. There you go. This is obviously vertical. You could have set that the points that they have this variation are going downwards, so it goes like sloping with the curve. Again, you can select individual ones and change some of the parameters, like let's say 15. You can select several of them by pressing Control and changing the parameters here, 25, and then you have the changes. We haven't talked about materiality, but that's a simple one. Here what you do is select either each phase or the entire volume, and you go to the material, you click on by category the material, and remember that you have very little options, so I recommend that you say new material. Let's rename it as aluminium, and then you click on this button and you can have the library open for you to search for aluminium options, and you can double click here so it's assigned to the aluminium option. Okay, you say OK, you load it into the project, and that should have the aluminium placed properly.